Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from Astrolada.com, and these are your November 2025 horoscopes. This month we have Divine Trine, Grand Trine in water. Multiple times it's being formed. Saturn and Jupiter holding a perfect trine the whole month, and it's completed by Mercury, by Venus, by the Sun, by the new moon. The Grand Trine in water is the most healing energy we can get. There will be some spontaneous healings outside for many of you, internally, externally. The Grand Trine is the perfect triangle, the equilateral triangle through which the divine blesses us. Anytime there is outpouring of blessings, this can happen through a Grand Trine, extremely harmonious energies, guys, and we'll speak how it affects each one of you, where you can benefit the most from. Yes, we have Mercury retrograde, Jupiter turning retrograde, but the divine blessings are there helping us, even if there is some little crisis from time to time, that we can take the highest decision, that we can act from the highest possible way. And so I'm very excited about the November horoscopes, but I also am ready with the 2026 video horoscopes, 2 hours, 2 or more hours for each of the 12 signs. You can order your sun, moon, or rising just for half price if you want the package of 3. And for early birds, it's only $19 per sign, or less than 40 for all 3 signs, or 120 for all 12 signs. My work of love, I've been working for the last month on these video horoscopes. It's exciting, and they're available. Thousands of people get them every year. This is my best project and my most loved, where I pour all my heart. Now let's begin with November and the blessings. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, November 2025. Sagittarius, the whole of October we had no fire. And as a fire sign, it's always felt we had a lot of water, we had some air. And fortunately, in November, you'll get to experience some fire more and more. And the more the month progresses, the more fire planets will start moving into Sagittarius. But still in November, especially the first 20 days, there is a bit more of this need for introspection, to be more within oneself, because most of the activations are in water, the Grand Trine in water. But already we're going to have I think from the 5th, yes, from the 5th of November, Mars enters your sign and will pass the whole of November, the first 20 degrees of Sagittarius, and then till the middle of December, the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius. So it will activate you. It will activate you to be more confident, because Mars rules your 5th house of creativity, to be more center stage, to be more outgoing, to go after the things you want. Mars is the planet of, you see something you desire it, you go after it, and to be more initiative. It might be a good time from towards the end of the first week to start working out. This November, if you have not been working out, if you've not been physically active, it's wonderful for fire signs now. They'll get this extra boost. But Mars comes also with its triggers, especially the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius, where Mars and Mercury will kind of meet. And Mercury goes retrograde on the 10th. So Mercury goes retrograde in your sign in Sagittarius. So especially the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius, if you're ascendant, sun, or moon from 0 to 10 degrees, this Mars conjunct retrograde Mercury will be felt strongly till the 15th, approximately, because Mercury and Mars are close together around that time, especially around the 6th, 7th degree, 5th, 6th, 7th, that's where they're conjunct exactly. You have to be a bit more cautious that you might be more triggered easily, more easily to enter into fights or arguments, but also more activated in regards to your career, to act there, because Mercury rules your 10th house. Also, so to act, to be more proactive in regards to your career, but also to fix some things there, because Mars likes to fix problems. Mercury retrograde shows where the problem is. So you might have to work on something, correct something. Some surprises might come, but Mercury also rules your relationships. It rules the seventh house, going retrograde in the first house. It can mean clarifying certain aspects of a relationship, deciding whether to continue with certain contract agreement or a relationship, a personal or business one or client one. There might be some confrontation possible and the need to act to fix something there. And mostly those are the Sagittarius who feel it, but if they, if there is desire from both sides to work it out, it can improve the relationship tremendously by December. Otherwise, there can be the need to take decisive action in regards to even eliminating a certain relationship, contract, or an aspect of it, or correcting it in some way. But yeah, if you feel more triggered, especially 9 to the 15th, know that this is the Mars conjunct Mercury combination happening in Sagittarius. But you can be also very active, get a lot of things done. And with Mercury retrograde, it's, you know, those first 20 days, the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius have to be careful with misplacing keys, passwords, hackings. These are Mercury retrograde things. Might have to be careful with, what they say, that it doesn't create conflict, but also completing things, editing, maybe delaying something so that you can see it from a different perspective, maybe working on some project, career project, for example, that you have to finish. Uh, Sorry about that. Using 3 times more of your attention to detail. We know that Sagittarius likes to rush, and Mars even will give you more of this urgency to rush. But with Mercury, it says like be more careful with the details because there can be some miscommunications. There can be some, Mercury retrograde problems, misplacing things or um, changes in schedule, having to rearrange your graphic, your schedule as well. Also, it can just mean that some people from the past are contacting you. You're getting in touch with people from the past as well. Maybe to do something, maybe to get a closure about something as well. Because after all, Mercury is the ruler of your seventh house. People from the past coming, contacting you, maybe even to do some work project together, or if it's a past relationship, to redefine it somehow, to start it sometimes, or to have closure on it. So this is the more triggering part, but also it's for good. Always everything is for good, even if it feels more chaotic for a moment. But otherwise, there is very beautiful Zen combination throughout the whole month of Jupiter trine Saturn, trine the new moon in your 12th house. It's all happening. The very blessed combination, it's happening in your hidden houses, Sagittarius. So it's more of a private hidden harmonization of your feelings, of your astral body. These are the houses where we store trauma, where we store the fourth house, for example, where Saturn is making the trine from, is our childhood trauma, our inner child wounds. The eighth house is if you've been betrayed somewhere, and where we hold the trauma and where we feel something has more control over us, where the impulsive emotional decisions come from. 12 houses, past lives, even subconscious traumas that we don't even remember. And these are all the world of the feelings, the unprocessed feelings, where the planets are aligning in a divine, beautiful way of the grand trine to create healing for you there. So there is this opportunity here to release the past, very big. You see, there is, yeah, Mars is in your sign, is making you more active and so on, but there is a lot of internal, almost alchemical process happening within you that is freeing you or releasing you from old pains and processed feelings, so making you see them from a different perspective. And because the astral body, a lot of the ailments, physical diseases, come from unprocessed feelings, fears, and they trickle down to the physical, you have this rare opportunity that something can shift in your feelings, like a purging of feelings, like seeing them from a different perspective, even to re-experience them, but to shift the perspective on that, so it even leads to miracle healings of some sort. Very rare, and this very rare, this water grand trine, and it's happening all throughout November. It keeps being filled in Saturn and Jupiter making perfect trine the whole month. They're stationary, they're not moving at 25 degrees in the water signs. And then the sun first activates it, then Venus, then the new moon, then Mercury retrograde activates it. It leaves on the 20th, your sign Sagittarius. So things become more predictable, let's say, after the 20th. But let's go one by one with those grand trines where the healing is happening, when the internal alchemy, transformation of your feelings and your wounds. Jupiter is stationary in your eighth house. When a planet is stationary, it really has much stronger impact. It's like it stops in the sky and it doesn't move. And on us, for us, it feels like Jupiter becomes 3 times more potent. So the big shifts in this eighth house can happen. And you have Jupiter in the eighth house just for 1 year. And it becomes retrograde there just once for 3, 4 months. But the important events happen when it turns retrograde and when it turns direct, when it changes direction. So this month is one of those months when it's turning retrograde in your eighth house. So some very important developments can happen. Okay, let's start with the spiritual side of the eighth house. This is your old traumas, pains, this is that are unprocessed, that are poisoning us. They can be a powerful release of starting to shift, to change direction in how you feel about some trauma from the past, or how you feel about something that has more control over you. These are our obsessions, our things that we do compulsively as well. So some shift, internal one, can start happening now inside of you. Even if you're not consciously looking for it, it's an internal process, it's an invisible process. So there can be some breakthrough psychologically from some, you know, situation psychologically that you've been stuck in. You start seeing it differently. Or on the more material level, this, and it can be accompanied with some kind of purging sometimes as well. Eighth house has this. But eighth house is the house of spontaneous healings when Jupiter is there, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So there is this element of possibility of a spontaneous healing of a long-standing condition. Eighth house is chronic health problems. So Jupiter retrograding there, the tides are turning for you. Maybe you discover a different alternative way for it, or maybe just this release of trauma spontaneously will start turning the condition around. And this process might be 2, 3 months while Jupiter is retrograde. But yeah, this is one of the highest manifestations of Jupiter in your eighth house. It starts working on a deeper level. Also, your intuition will deepen and become stronger. You'll have some deep realizations about yourself, your motivations, your past, almost like divine downloads. And the eighth house is a natural researcher with Jupiter there. You can have a lot of aha moments and insights about certain situations in your life. And it's also very good to do research. If you're a scientist, if you're someone, or if retrograde planet likes Jupiter retrograde is more focused on knowledge and understanding and wisdom and intuition, it can start the process of opening the chakras. Eighth house is connected to the Kundalini. It can start process of spiritual awakening of some sort, or it can start the process of, as we said, just releasing, healing, or just for some of it, just going into a research mode, going into research, especially if you like occult knowledge, astrology, tarot, any mysteries, going deep diving with knowledge to understand even conspiracy theories, even the darker motivations, the deep state, and such kind of more taboo topics. to understand about just to understand the shadow work. It will be much easier to do, and you can do some very intense and releasing shadow work, recognizing your weaknesses, your subconscious responses, and triggers, and Jupiter retrograde kind of, because it slows down the energy, gives you the opportunity to see frame by frame what causes those compulsive reactions, so those behaviors or those patterns, and to start freeing you. They also call the fourth, eighth, and 12th houses the houses moksha, liberation. These are houses of spiritual liberation, and spiritual liberation happens only when you start detaching from things that you're afraid to lose. So this, especially in eighth house, Jupiter retrograde can give you to start recognizing the power that you have through the emotion, being emotionally vulnerable, how it makes you powerful instead of trying to be like, but being emotionally vulnerable will make you powerful. It also makes a process of forgiving and healing and letting go of hurts against you. And especially if you've been abused in some way, if you've been taken advantage, if your trust was betrayed. Eighth house stores all of that. And Jupiter there helps you see it from a different perspective. Maybe there was a purpose for this happening, helps you release it and helps you forgive such people. And that's when the biggest healings and transformations happen. And don't forget that Jupiter is you. Wherever Jupiter goes, you go, and you deep diving into this eighth house for 3, 4 months. But in November, it's very powerful to have these deep realizations, to see what's taking your power, to claim back this power, to start a deep healing, as I said. But there is also material manifestation to the eighth house. There can be a shift and some important decisions that you have to take with eighth house matters. One of them can be taxes. Like you have to study more or learn more about taxes so you can be more wise with them, so you can be, make the most of them. Jupiter brings great knowledge about such things, and deep dive on some work there. Or it can be that you receive some money that you didn't expect, or money owed to you, taxes coming back to you, for example, a big tax rebate. Or eighth houses, if someone owes you money, Jupiter going retrograde there, this money can come back to you now. Or it might be that you start a process of how to receive more from other people's resources, how to tap into the potential of, maybe you collaborate with someone, maybe you are in a partnership with someone, but there is more that you can benefit from their talents and potential, because the eighth house is the second from the seventh, the talents, the potentials of others, the resources of others. So you can become more proficient in how you can utilize and tap into and even develop and benefit through the resources of others, through the talents of others. Maybe there will be a shift in the finances of your partner, because Jupiter is receiving a lot of great aspects. I'm saying it's going to be for good, that money can come to you through others in some way. So ask for help from others, financial or psychological, emotional, and you can receive it. Maybe you can receive a great check back from some project that you've worked on, because eighth house is other people's finances. So in investments that you've made, some shift or decision that you have to make there. Eighth house is intimacy, the ability to feel desire, to open oneself to another, to trust another. And Jupiter starts a healing process to allow you there to allow others to feel deeper intimacy. I remember Jupiter retrograde in my eighth house was first physical and emotional healing, much deeper intimacy. I met my husband then. Even the retrograde period, the intimacy deepened even more and more. And we had to address some issues of trusting each other. And we were very open, because Jupiter makes you open to this process. And of course, I had insecurities. I had insecurities. And when Jupiter turned retrograde, we opened up about our insecurities to each other's and what made us fearful about the relationship and so on. And we merged our money together and we started making 3 times as much money together with our merged energy. And I also tapped into the potential of the people I worked with, which I hadn't tapped till then. So Jupiter can allow you to do all of this, to use other people's resources. Maybe you ask for a loan or for money or for mortgage, and now Jupiter goes retrograde. So something you asked for before, something that you've planned, it comes to you now. Because retrograde is something that you've already thought about or planned. It can come to you. You start working on it now, deepening it. And then when it moves direct, you can see the results in a few months from now. All right. But yeah, this is one of the beautiful things. And then you have the new moon together with Mercury retrograde moving into your 12th house and the new moon in the 12th house on the 20th of November. This is again tapping into your subconscious, realizing some things. That's why this whole month is great to, if you have a psychologist to work with them, you can have incredible insights. Even past life regressions is the 12th house, remembering something, the root of it, and that can bring healing. So even if you don't work with a psychologist, just introspection, meditation on your own, reading such books can bring big shifts ahead. And Mercury is again shifting your subconscious. They're in the 12th house, new moon, new insights. There can be new beginnings for some of you connected to faraway countries. For others, it might be connected to, because this new moon, not every Sagittarius will feel it. It's in your 12th house of rest, of I would say around the 20th, be more like the 19th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, till the moon becomes visible, and it will become visible in Sagittarius. So from the 21st, 22nd onwards, you'd feel this new inflow of energy more and more potently. And the sun moves into Sagittarius from the 22nd, and the first crescent moon appears in Sagittarius around the 22nd. Mars is already there. You start feeling like newborn then. You start feeling this. So if you have some important new things to do them then. Powerful new beginnings, do them after the 22nd when the sun is already in your sign, the crescent new moon, something to grow, to expand. So that will become more and more positive period for you. And you start feeling the fire, the energy, because you see all those planets in the 12 and blah, 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 8, it's internal work. It's more private life matters rather than out there. But when the planets and the sun moves and Venus moves to Sagittarius, I think towards the end of the month, and it becomes better and better for you. Let me see when Venus moves to Sagittarius. So it moves in December. So right on the first day of December, December will be a flowing energy for you. And then the last planet of the Grand Trine is Saturn. Saturn in your 4th house, it's starting to move direct at the end of November, on the 28th, 29th of November. Mercury also turns direct then. So till the end of November, there might be some things that are up in the air, still uncertain. But Saturn changing direction, it's again big shifts, this time possibly in your family and home life. It's or how you feel about your family, or if there was some difficulties, because Saturn has been in your 4th house for the last 3 years almost. It's not an easy aspect. It's one of the hardest houses for Saturn to be, the 4th and the 8th and the first as well. All emotional houses. Sorry, but the 4th house in particular, Saturn made you look at family traumas and such things. And now Saturn moving direct, there can be a shift if there was a difficult situation in your personal life with family members, ailing or elderly parent or something like that, or just difficult family circumstances with place of living, with homelessness, or with real estate or selling or buying real estate, some delays if they were possibly from the end of November, because, and even through November, because Saturn is receiving trines there. So there can be support, very powerful support with something in your personal life, in your family life. in your uh, the situation around parents or you as a parent or heavy responsibilities, it becomes easing up because Saturn direct is easier energy. And Saturn receiving trines from Jupiter. So, for example, this month can be good to arrange something about property. Maybe if you've been trying to find a place or buy a place or sell a place, you'd have much progress because of the trine to Saturn in your fourth house in regards to such matters. If you've been trying to arrange something for your parents or you as a parent or your parenting responsibility, or maybe you're building something, it's been delayed, there's been stresses, it starts aligning perfectly now in your personal life. But the fourth house has also connotation of childhood trauma or the inner child and learning to put boundaries and learning to create healthier boundaries with family members. But also it's about forgiving family members and moving forward when Saturn starts moving ahead with maybe with more with more which Saturn wanted to do with more boundaries and with more mature attitude towards the whole family overall. All right. So that's a lot of it. You see, there is a lot of healing coming here. The matters of the eighth house can be very good because of the grand trines, mutual finances, mutual investments, taxes, insurances, inheritances, money that comes to you through others or support that comes to you through others, even psychology, astrology, and the occult, family and home, good, a bit, might be even good for building, for finding a new place, resolving of some problems with family. And here the 12th house making you very intuitive with this new moon, getting you insights. And the more towards the end of the month, planet starts moving into Sagittarius. So you come out of this overly emotional period and internal and start coming up on the stage, coming up in the limelight again. So wishing you great healing, great release of the old, and miraculous, miraculous healings. And yeah, check out my videos for 2026. They're out, only $19 for each of the signs. So if you get Sun, Moon, and Rising, you get them for $40. I'm very excited. This is my work of love that I put my most energy every year. We sell a few thousand of them. These are really the most beloved project that I have, and I work on them for months. And it's 2 hours for each sign, even a bit longer. Thank you.